Hi, you're watching Happy Asian Tarot Queen. I am Elisa. And we got the Knight of Wands and we got the Page of Pentacles. So this is interesting. It's almost like this opportunity is presenting itself and it's maybe paving the way for a bold move forward. So interesting. One thing that just came to me, this kind of flipped out, the King of Swords. So that can be like a harsh truth that's revealing itself at the same time that this is happening. And then the thing that I want to just caution is like this is an opportunity, but it's just the beginning nub of an opportunity. It's just like a baby step, and this is like a bold move forward, but this is like a sort of flighty, kind of not necessarily something that you want to like put all your eggs in this basket, because it's a little flighty. It's here today, gone tomorrow, So there's this opportunity that's here, and then there's this harsh truth that's being revealed in the background. So like what I just got from that is like with this going on, this might look a little bit more tempting than it might reveal itself to be over the long term. So it's like good that this is happening, but it's just like, don't be tempted to just like jump in because of this, take a measure. There was a reading recently, and it was like, take a measured an approach, because things are moving forward, and that's good. But this is a baby step, and you should take it as that. It's good that this is happening, but one step at a time. Don't just like jump in, it's like out of the frying pan into the fire, like take a measured approach. Okay, I'm going to go to the Prism Oracle. But it is good because we just, yeah. So when I pulled this out, at the bottom of the deck, we have caution. So that's a double message. So it's like, yes, things are changing, but don't move too quickly, because it's just like the very beginning, and there's not really stability that's been established. But it is good that like these things are appearing. Keep the faith. It's like you might not see right now how this is going to play out. But that's okay, just like one step at a time. Okay. So I'm going to go now to, let's see what the angels and ancestors have to say. We know that there's angels and ancestors watching over us. Okay. When I just did the split here, it's interesting. So we got Warrior, be fearless and stand strong. So obviously this is like a really huge transition that's going on, and might be requiring you to, there have been all these readings leading up to this about sort of like healing this long-standing generational situation. And like I'll try to link one of them up here. But these can be like really dramatic. Like there was one from a couple days ago where it was just like, oh my gosh, this huge drama from that being kind of like dismantled, and it was like revealing this just like blah, you know. So it's like you're gonna really have to stand firm in your boundaries, and like sometimes that, you know, it's like in family dynamics, like when you're young especially, you can sort of get into this pattern of like being taken advantage of, and like realize, you know, like when you're older, like this isn't right, you know. And so for you to have to reestablish your boundaries after years of being taken advantage of, that can be really hard, you know. But it's just like, be firm, stand in your boundaries. And then we have seer, see beyond the current situation. So it's just like, follow your instincts, and also know that this is a moment in time that's going to pass. So, you know, keep planning for the future, and be focusing on moving past and through this situation. It's like the parties that are going to be the most affected are the people who just trying to keep the situation, the status quo going as is, because clearly this is a moment where that's going to change, you know. So it's like, that's not really like a plan that has longevity to like keep this dysfunctional situation going. So there was a reading from a long time ago, and it was called, If It Keeps on Raining, the Levee's Gonna Break. So it was like a foreshadowing of this sort of moment, and it was talking about how, you know, the levee's gonna break. You know, you can see the writing on the wall. So, you know, this is a kind of time to sort of plan for like what's gonna happen after that, because it's inevitable. So it's like, you don't want to get in the way of it, you know, and you don't necessarily yourself like want to be involved in like knocking the levee down, but it's like, if you know you can't stop it, like your next best thing is to just plan for you know, the aftermath. And so that's kind of like sort of the message that I'm getting. It's like, keep firm in your boundaries. This situation is obviously beyond your own, beyond you. So, you know, be firm in your boundaries, and look to the future. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Okay, so I'm going to go to the transient light. We might get a light in the shadow perspective. Oh my gosh. When I pull it out of the deck, we got the Two of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles on the split. So it's kind of like, almost like there's this blockage, you know, that's been like holding you back for some time, but there's this opportunity that's kind of opening up a path. It's just the beginnings of the opportunity. Like, you don't really see where this is heading, but it is showing up on the landscape, one step at a time, baby steps. All right, so we're gonna pull a few cards from this deck, see what we get. Okay, oh, I don't think I've ever gotten this before. All right, a bunch of stuff plopped out. So at the bottom we have the Star. So this is a card of healing. It's a card of alchemy. What I just got is, this is a situation of someone sort of taking a bad situation and using it to fuel their growth. And that growth, it's like an overflowing cup. So it's like, it's gonna bring them some really important divine blessings. we also, this is interesting. So we got 3 6s here. We got the 6 of coins, the 6 of swords, and we got the 6 of vessels, the 6 of cups. So that's really interesting. But this is kind of like a balancing of karma, like you reap what you sow. I think there's a reading called You Reap What You Sow. And this is like moving on from a bad situation to a better situation. So it's like this person who's gone through something big, they're rebalancing their karma, and it's this bridge to a better life for them. You know, they're transmuting. That came out in a reading recently too. They're transmuting the energy from this situation, which looks to be not very good, into like healing and blessings. And that's the overall energy of this reading. It's like we're just starting to see the beginning of what that's going to look like, but it is starting to appear on the landscape. So then we have the 6 of vessels, which is interesting because this usually speaks to a soulmate connection, like someone you have a deep relationship with from the past. And I think that kind of speaks to this, since it's kind of linked to these 2 cards. It speaks to sort of like healing a generational family relationship, or someone that you have a deep relationship with, either in your family or from your past, or even like in another lifetime. But it's interesting because the artwork on here is kind of different. It's like all these trunks, like it's almost like all this stuff from the attic is like, it's like being sort of like brought up again, you know, like all these memories from the past, you know, you're finding all these letters and all these, you know, so there's like all this nostalgia here, you know, as this is going on. So it's like there's a lot of emotions that are having to be processed throughout all of this. And we have the Revealer. So this is a card of the High Priestess, but in this deck it's interesting because it's the Revealer, you know. It's like, it's almost like whatever this situation is, it's like written in the stars, like you were, you know, however difficult the situation is that you're having to heal, like it was meant, it's part of your destiny to like go through this. And it also, like, I think this speaks to there being like guidance, like you're being guided through this situation. The ancestors are present. This is the 9 of Wands, so that's the Wounded Warrior card. Like this has clearly been like a really trying situation that's really testing you on so many levels, you know, and it's like you've just been just like beaten down and just subjected to all this really bad, horrible stuff, and you're just like kind of over it, you know. It's like the Ukrainians, you know, like they just keep taking like onslaught after onslaught after onslaught after onslaught, and it's just like, you know, like you kind of want to give up, but this person is determined. Like they're not going to give up. They're determined to bring this better life for themselves, you know. So they're going to see it through, no matter how difficult this moment is right now. And then we have the Chariot. So it's like, this is it's like triumphing over like the light and the dark, you know, being in command of both and being the master of your emotions and like moving forward. So this person is going through a lot, and they have a lot of emotions that are being, you know, trudged up through all of this, but they're doing the work to like transmute this situation it's interesting because each time I pick up this card, a different card shows up. And underneath we have justice. So this situation is being brought to justice. They're going to have to walk away from something that they've invested a lot in. But there's the, you know, there's this is kind of like weeding the garden, like that after they've sort of like kind of done the sort of weeding on this situation, there's like a new, more prosperous situation that you're working towards. So the Seven of Pentacles is almost like you kind of have to go through this weeding process to get to the 10, and it's really difficult and hard. It's like you've gone through all this, like you're gonna have to let go of things that, you know, you have all this history with, because you have to sort of like pare it down and like refocus your energies on like what's going to be productive in order to get to the 10. And so that's kind of this moment that we're at. We're just really having to draw boundaries around ourselves. Like this was a reading from a while ago, like sort of cutting the cord on things that don't serve you, that are holding you back, in order to make room for this to evolve. So it looks like a really painful moment, like to move through very intentionally and cautiously, but keep the faith, because it's ultimately leading towards something good. Okay, so I'm going to end with the Shaman's Dream, and we'll see what we get. I'll just do a quick split. All right. Horseman, Herald of Change, and we got Garden of Venus, Rest and Renewal. So yeah, there have been, this is interesting because it's like, things are changing, take your time. And this was a message that came up in another reading too, like it's okay to sort of, it was like all about, you know, taking your time after going through like sort of like a narcissistic sort of situation. Like it's okay to take a moment to rest and recuperate, and that's totally okay. And I think that's what this is speaking to. Like this, whatever this is that's being healed, it's really big. And don't worry, because there's blessings here. It's okay to take your time. It's all good. So yeah, this looks like a really important moment. It's really important work to heal these situations, and it's a lot, you know. But I think also, like, just worldwide, this kind of energy is really prominent, you know, like the whole world is going through this huge healing. So it's like there's not really a hurry, like we're all going through it, you know, and it's gonna time out okay, you know, like when we all kind of like get back to business as usual. Like we're not there yet, and that's totally okay.